Ladies and gentlemen, we are now live following WWE Raw. This is the Ango Show. I, of course, am Ango, and I am here joined today by Billy TKO. We are live on YouTube, Twitch, X, Billy's channel, Billy TKO. And what a freaking episode of WWE Raw. Definitely going to talk about it. So much has happened, so much to discuss. Billy, this is another stellar episode of WWE Raw, and honestly, I know we're gonna have a lot to say. I just really quick. I just before I do some shout outs and some stuff that we need to get through.
Yep.
The show just ended with JD McDonough and Finn Balor walking out as tag team champions. Did you have that on your bingo card for tonight's episode?
No, I did not. I thought tonight's show was finished. I thought it was just going to be a regular schmegular main event. And no, that was not on my card. I did not expect that, but they did it. They did it, and I'm not mad at it.
Crazy, man. Crazy. So yeah, guys, we're going to talk about WWE Raw. A couple things have changed for this specific live stream. So I just kind of want to talk about this. This might be like the new expectation for live streams in general. Regardless of who is sitting alongside me, obviously, whenever our schedules match, we're going to try to bring Billy in here. But of course, we would like to add more guests and more people in general. But going forward on these live streams, we will be doing a simulcast YouTube, Twitch, and X, which means if you're following on Twitch, if you're watching this on Twitch, it doesn't have YouTube memberships, but we do have the subscription option on Twitch available. The best way to support us live on Twitch would be doing the Twitch Prime sub. So if you're a member of Amazon Prime, you can use a free sub, and then you're able to do that on Twitch. On YouTube, if you guys want to support the channel, you could do it a couple different ways. Obviously, the first way is by clicking subscribe, by clicking like, because on YouTube, without even having to give money or anything like that, subscribing gets me one step closer to 100,000 subscribers. Liking the stream helps with the algorithm and pushing it out and showing YouTube that you care and you are engaged. But also with that, I do want to point out that I have introduced a tip jar. So if you guys want to super chat on the channel, that is fantastic. Super chat is a great way to monetarily support the channel, but I have included a link in the description that is a tip jar. Now, the reason why I'm introducing this is because YouTube takes a huge cut of super chats. So with the tip jar, if you use the tip jar, it goes directly to the channel. YouTube isn't taking a cut out of it, that type of thing. With that being said, super chats can pop up on the screen. The tip jar can't. Not a big deal. If I see a tip in the tip jar at the stream elements link in the description, I will still read your question or comment. So keep that in mind. I'm not ignoring you or anything like that. Now that we got that out of the way, let's fucking talk about it, because Billy, tonight was another great episode of WWE Raw. And I say another great episode because honestly, WWE has been delivering some really exceptional TV. But last week and this week, it just feels slightly elevated. Like there is something significantly happening backstage where they are just going guns blazing. And we kind of talked about this before the stream started, but it was funny because I'm like, man, just so much has happened. And that is something that I'm noticing to be a lot more of a common thing these last few weeks, where there is just so much happening, which is a phenomenal thing. But it just goes to show you how the stories are all interconnected. You got the Wyatt 6 going after Chad Gable, but at the same time, too, Chad Gable is now teasing his stuff with the Creed brothers again. Otis and the Academy to shut him down. Like everything on this show is interconnected. It's like one open world where things are cross-contaminating with each other. And before we talk about specific segments or matches or certain things, do you kind of get where I'm coming from with this perspective that like, for a 3-hour Raw, if you miss like these little things, like you might be missing a lot more than you actually realize?
Yeah, no, I fully agree, actually, because even when we were off stream there for a minute, I told you I had to go to the bathroom, and I was like, let me know what happens. And I know that sounds crazy, but it really does. Like, it almost feels like a video game, and like they're telling like a video game storyline, and just the way that things intertwine between each other. Because I'll tell you what, talking about the Chad Gable and the Creed brothers thing and how that intertwined with Otis and them shutting the door on him. Like, just the way it feels like one big moving part. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And this is like, it's some next level booking, man. It's like, I'm very, very impressed with WWE right now. And Billy, I'm just gonna flat out say it, man. Like, Triple H Booker of the Year. We don't have to wait till December.
No, just give him the award now.
This company completely turned around from what we saw with Vince McMahon. And every week that I keep watching, I'm starting to get to the point where I am actually impressed, dude. Like, I'm really...
I mean, dude, we talked about it. We literally talked about it before, just how, like, it was crazy coming into these summer months. I think we'd had a conversation maybe like 2 weeks ago or something like that, where it was like, oh, normally around this time, wrestling starts to slow down a little bit coming out of WrestleMania, everybody. And then boom, next week it was like, oh, nope, you have to watch now. You have no choice. And I mean, me personally, I'm not complaining because we just sat through how many years with Vince and his booking and just, to come into this, I'm not mad at it, dude. I'm very happy. Very happy.
I'm not mad at it. And I kind of want to start off with Raw and just how we started off in general.
Mm-hmm.
Because tonight's show is live from Indianapolis, Indiana, which we know WWE made this groundbreaking announcement with the stadium shows coming. Mm-hmm. And obviously there's been something kind of lurking between the Wyatt Sick6 and Pat McAfee show, which in general has already kept me a little bit more intrigued than normal, because I actually watched the Pat McAfee show. And it's a show that's on ESPN, which WWE doesn't have control over that show or anything like that. But they've kind of played the Wyatt Sick6 into the Pat McAfee show. So on tonight's episode, what was really strange was Michael Cole kicks off Raw and he's with The Miz. And
random.
Dude, it's the most random thing. My reaction to this is like, what the fuck is The Miz doing there? Which I'm going to give him his flowers in a little bit, but I was thrown off by it. Pat McAfee's not there. It's Indianapolis. It just didn't make sense to me. Michael Cole explains that Pat McAfee isn't there. I'm thinking, holy shit, this dude got abducted. Something happened with the Wyatt Sick6.
Yeah.
Then while this is happening, you just see a person walk right in front of the camera. And it's so funny because you don't know who it is.
It was just a black jacket.
Black jacket. Like, I couldn't tell who it was. And just right in front of the camera, you can't see the face. You just see the arms, and he walks through, and then the camera shifts to the ring, and it's Drew McIntyre. Michael Cole says on commentary, Drew McIntyre is here, but he quit last week. So we get the explanation. We get the welcome. Pat McAfee is joined by The Miz, or Michael Cole is joined by The Miz. Pat McAfee's not there. They're already setting the groundwork for this show of, hey, something is going down today, right? And I like how they've kind of, with the Pat McAfee show and WWE kind of like cross promoting or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I like the fact that there's like continuity with it.
Yeah,
right?
using both platforms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To further a story or an angle, right?
Well, not only that, I mean, I had a video that I told you about that kind of, went on TikTok and stuff like that. And it was, I gained a lot of followers from Pat McAfee's fan base.
Yeah.
Because he has his own separate fan base. And I don't think people realize that.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
It is. And then we get Drew McIntyre, who talks about this Money in the Bank stuff, right? And he's talking about CM Punk, and basically he just assumes that he's going to be in the Money in the Bank match, which,
love it.
Later on in the show, there's some really good logic behind this, but he's talking as if he's going to be in Money in the Bank. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
This promo, great way to open up the show. They have extra security again for the show. There's mentions of the Wyatt Sick6 and what they did to Chad Gable, like starting off hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're starting off hot.
Yeah.
And then to make it even better, we get the Drew McIntyre promo. Fast forward later on in the episode, he's talking to Adam Pearce, and like, he's demanding it. Like, CM Punk had screwed him, all this shit. He should be in the match. Adam Pearce really, like, to be fair, Drew has a lot of logical points, but when you see Adam Pearce talking to him, It's like Adam Pearce has already been so busy and dealing with so much shit throughout the night and just in general. This is starting to give me a very realistic approach to things. Like,
Yeah.
in a weird way, Drew McIntyre being logical as to why he should be in the Money in the Bank. Like, it's true. And I love too, Billy. I don't know if you caught this, but he mentioned Seth Rollins coming back after 3 months, losing at WrestleMania,
and getting a title shot.
Getting the title shot. So a lot of logic here. This is not the same WWE as Vince McMahon.
No.
Every single detail is perfectly crafted to perfection.
They're answering every question the moment it gets brought up in your head.
Every single question. So we get this promo from Drew McIntyre. It's not a very long promo, but it's a really good way to kick off your show. What's your reaction?
So, number one, I think the big thing for me was the bracelet, because I had seen on Twitter, everybody was like, oh, their names are on the bracelet. I wasn't sure. Like, I was very unsure. And then instantly answer the question, Larry, AJ. I'm like, okay, so that's a real thing. I mean, I've said it numerous times, and the fact that even months later, we're still talking about it. Drew's heel turn has been the most logical thing on WWE television the whole way through. It makes the most sense. This guy is just a dude filled with anger, has been snubbed numerous times by Punk, has every single reason to hate this guy.
Yeah.
And then is made out to look crazy. So my initial reaction to this is like, he's just telling you the best story that he possibly can that makes the most sense. And it's like, this is human, right? That's the big thing here. This isn't a character. Now you're playing in a human emotion. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the huge thing here is the human emotion behind this. It's like, I gravitate so much to it because I'm a human who has also held a grudge or been angry because maybe I feel like I've been snubbed from something. And it's like, I think what did he say? He said, you guys chant his name and the people that do, they're just kind of noise to me or whatever. So now I'm just speaking directly to you. I get goosebumps talking about it because it like, that's a genuine emotion. Like, yeah, I don't want to hear about the person that I hate the most or that I dislike the most. It's just, dude, the storytelling that we're getting from Triple H, especially. So even if we're just using this one storyline alone, right?
Yeah.
Take away everything else that's going on in WWE right now, which is obviously a lot. But this one storyline alone is pulling at your heartstring almost, right?
Yeah.
Because now you're playing into somebody's wife. You're playing into the importance of their life. Dude, this is, I made a video about it. This is the art of hate. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And yeah, love it, man. Love it.
When wrestling feels real, wrestling is the best. And I think what's often happened in professional wrestling is that people know that it's kayfabe, you know, like they know that the kayfabe exists and, you know, they're writing it and scripting it. And I hate the terminology fake. And I know a lot of other people do, but the reason why I hate the fake terminology is because, like, yeah, what they do in the ring, they take bumps and they get hurt. I've never considered it fake in that regard. They protect each other and it's a television show and it's entertainment. But at the end of the day, I think what they do is very real. But we're not stupid. We're not oblivious to the fact that we know that it's being written and scripted this way. What I love so much about the Drew McIntyre angle with CM Punk is that, like, not even just this specific angle, but if you look at Drew McIntyre's heel turn, when you combine that with the rumors that Drew was pissed off with the WWE and Drew could potentially go to AEW, I mean, the AEW fans literally worked themselves into thinking he was going there. That's how cool wrestling is. When wrestling feels that real, and it gets to a point where people genuinely think like Drew McIntyre fucking despises CM Punk. I don't think it gets better than that. And he's a very, very good promo. We know Drew McIntyre is a great wrestler, and we know he's a good promo, but we never seen a Drew McIntyre heel in WWE like this.
No.
And I love that you brought up the bracelet thing, because when you look at the bracelet and the significance behind it, people know who CM Punk's dog is, because CM Punk's whole personality trait is AJ Lee and Larry.
That's his whole personality.
And if you watched AEW, you know that Larry had some backstage beef. but if you look at it from a different lens, though, it feels like CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, and it's crazy because CM Punk is not even cleared, but they've done such a phenomenal job of like making it feel like Drew McIntyre genuinely hates this guy. And they're selling that. And like that's a selling point because yes, we could talk about logic and stuff, right? And that's one thing. But let's talk about the physical action of delivering these promos and these segments. When Drew McIntyre says he quit, right? But then he walks in front of the camera to kick off Raw. It didn't feel like, you know, it would have been different if his music hit and, you know, no, this motherfucker said he quit, walks through the crowd,
and just
walks in front of the camera and steps onto the front with a microphone. It feels real.
It feels real because you could have missed SmackDown, right? And you could have just went to Raw. So you only watched Raw last week and then you only watched Raw this week and you missed SmackDown. Yeah. You still would have got the same answer whether you watch SmackDown or not because they're not on SmackDown. They're both Raw superstars. So they played it as if only things happened on Raw.
Yes.
Later on, they tell you, hey, this is what happened. But initially what you see is like, oh, well, this is what I got last week.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff, man.
Very, very good opening segment. And then after that, that's when they do the recap of the Wyatt Sick stuff, which we'll talk about that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, next thing we have is Chad Gable arriving to the arena. Fuck, this was great. I want to talk about this. Chad Gable walks into the arena and it feels like a paparazzi shot with the WWE camera following the vehicle into the arena. And they do this whole thing where Chad Gable's surrounded by extra security. He's bandaged up, you know, because he got shot in the head last week. I don't know where that whole thing comes from, by the way, but
I wasn't sure if they were stitches though, because it was weird. It was like 4 lines that he had.
I have no idea, but weird. he's selling the injury or whatever. He's walking in with the security, and social media have all looked and saw something pretty damn interesting here. There's a production truck that Chad Gable walks past going into the arena, and he doesn't want the cameras. He's covering up his face. He's trying to cover up his wound. And as he walks past this production truck, there is a image of Alexa Bliss on the truck. And it's not Alexa Bliss, like the pretty blonde Alexa Bliss. It's the Wyatt version of Alexa Bliss. I know this isn't a very big segment or something, but this is something that WWE, it's the little sprinkles on top, right?
A tease, man.
What's your reaction to how, not only how they produce this segment, but then also tell me, what do you think of the Alexa Bliss being on the production truck? Is that a coincidence or is that something a little bit more?
So, number one, the segment, I'll start with the segment. I mean, thank you for answering whether Chad Gable had passed away or not. I appreciate that. Right? Because they told you instantly, like, hey, this guy's good. We're going to play into his bruise and we're going to he just bumped up a little bit. It looked bad, but he was just bumped up. And then number one, the one thing that I took out of the segment itself with that kind of thing is you're kind of taking away from the idea that he's a lot like Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy about, right? Because I don't want this guy to be compared to Kurt Angle for the rest of the time. I want Chad Gable to be Chad Gable.
Yeah.
And now it feels like, oh, he's a celebrity. He's a paparazzi guy. You know what I'm saying? People are walking up to him. He's got security surrounding him. He's checking his back. I mean, just a perfect way to play into his character and everything that he's got going on right now. You
Absolutely.
know, talking about somebody's demise and stuff like that. Well, I need protection at all costs. I love it. The Alexa Bliss thing. Is it coincidental? Absolutely not. I don't think so. You texted it to me, and I didn't even notice it at first until you texted me. I did not even notice it. Like, that's how quick this show moves. Because you're trying to look for things, and then suddenly you're missing something. No, I don't think that's coincidental, because realistically, WWE in the public eye, they love the pretty, right? Hate to break it to everybody, that version of Alexa Bliss, not that pretty, right? That's not something you want to sell to your kids. You know what I mean? To the children out there. It's just not. You know what I mean? I know this is deep and stuff, but it really is a real thing. Like, they're playing huge into this Wyatt Sick stuff. And later on, obviously, we got what we got. And I think this is just a little piece of that. I think people were questioning last week, where's Alexa Bliss? What is she going to be doing? Is she going to be a part of it? You're starting to see some answers.
I'm curious if they're what, not if. I think the answer is yes. Alexa Bliss is the 6th member.
Yes.
I do 1000% believe it. I think wrestling fans, especially on Twitter, have kind of made up this whole thing of like, no way there's going to be 6 because the 6th member is Bray Wyatt, and you know, Bray Wyatt's no longer with us. And there's nothing from a TV perspective that has indicated that. This is fan speculation that I think everybody's running with. Now, what's interesting in the Wyatt 6 thing is how they're spelling the Wyatt 6, because initially it was on the screen and on the graphic, it was Wyatt SICKS or SICK6, the number.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's not really, I mean, until we get like a match graphic or something like that, I don't know the way they're spelling it. But if the number 6 is in the spelling,
then you can imagine there's 6 people.
Exactly. If they're spelling it with the S,
then you can play into the Bray Wyatt stuff.
Exactly. That's where the confusion comes in.
Mm-hmm.
But WWE is being very clear. Like it's in clear like daylight. Like they are telling you flat out, hey, this angle has a lot of elements that you might be watching the show and not even realize that this is a part of it. And I think with the Alexa Bliss thing, if there was somebody who can really be good in this group, it would be her. Because of the fact that with her and Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy before, she was already so talented. But in terms of on-screen character, being with Uncle Howdy and Bray, people can't fucking forget like Alexa Bliss having an encounter with Uncle Howdy on Raw before everything went away. So I think like Abby the Witch is Nikki Cross, but like Alexa Bliss was never supposed to be Sister Abigail.
She never was.
She never portrayed Sister Abigail.
No, she was just a person who was a part of this.
Yes. And so I do think she's going to be the 6th member, but I want to know, it's like I said, it's not if. I want to know when and how they do it. And I think that's really going to come across in when Uncle Howdy has a big time match and they need him to win. I think that would be the big reveal.
Perfect way to do it. Perfect way to do it. There's so many questions coming out of this Wyatt 6 thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. because I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how you even book them in a match.
But what's your concern with that? Is because you think they're supernatural or what?
No, not so much that. It's just you ever watched a movie and you didn't want anything to happen to the character?
Yes.
It's that. It's how do you separate the two? You know, that's a question for another time, but realistically, it's a thing that I've been asking.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. We'll keep it moving. We'll get back to the Y6 stuff because there is a reveal later on in the show. But continuing with the show, we get Braun Breaker versus
Ludwig.
Ludwig Kaiser. Sorry. I was about to say Gunther, and I'm like, that's not what happened. So
I got some things to say about this.
Put the Intercontinental Championship around Braun Breaker right now. That's what I have to say about this.
You can do that. And what I've been saying for the longest time, Kaiser is going to be one of the guys coming up here very, very soon. You cannot change my mind on this. We talked about it on one of our streams before that Ludwig, he is a future star in this business, and it shows every time I see him on the TV by himself. He is he's great on the mic. He's great in the ring, and he knows how to tell a story. This guy, in the midst of having this match with Braun, was telling the story with Sheamus. You cannot tell me that this is not good storytelling. This guy, for as young as he is and the way that he's coming up and stuff like that, he is I don't know. I just see future world heavyweight champion written all over that guy, almost like the same way I do with Ilya.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just think people were so stuck on him being with Gunther that it was hard for them to separate the two. I don't know. I've just always felt a certain way. I think this guy just gets it, and he's going to be one of the guys that we see on TV for a long time.
So there's 2 points that I want to make, because you mentioned the Ludwig and Gunther thing. They're a perfect example of how you could be a tag team or a group without having to break up and still do single stuff. Perfect example. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this and you see somebody on Twitter being like, oh, well, how they have to break up or whatever. No, you don't have to fucking break up every group or every tag team. You could venture off and go your solo route, whatever it may be, because naturally it's competition and they're both in their own stories, but they're still affiliated with each other. So I did want to make that point. The second thing, though, is this match was fucking incredible. And this crowd was so good for tonight's episode, which historically, Indianapolis, I don't recall ever seeing them this hype, but Braun Breaker had them in the palm of his hands. And I was waiting for it because I'm like, I know they want to protect both wrestlers. And WWE doesn't do a 30-minute time limit where they could do a draw. So naturally, what are they going to do? Interference of some kind.
And it just made sense in this.
And it made sense. But what was so freaking cool was Ludwig gets out of the ring, runs around the ring, and the camera doesn't show Sheamus. So the camera literally just perfectly crafts this angle where Ludwig just runs right into a knee from Sheamus.
Dude, tell me that knee did not look brutal.
Brutal as fuck. And then here's the best part. Sheamus has got Ludwig on his shoulders or whatever, and Braun Breaker runs and spears him because he's pissed that these guys are getting involved in his match.
Dude, it was just amazing.
This is not only a freaking great match, but now it's progressing every individual involved to the point where, like, oh man, if you want Sami Zayn to drop the belt to somebody, I think every single person in this storyline is showing me a valid reason why it should be them.
Yep. It really is. But, I mean, if you're going to ask me right now, it's Braun. I think that's just personally speaking. But, again, they could just not give Braun the belt and just continue this run with Sami. But my thought process, it runs deeper into the bloodline stuff. But, again, that's why we're here, right? And that's why we get to talk about this stuff, is it's more than just one story being told here. You can give Braun the title, let Sami go. He'll be fine with or without the belt.
Yes. Well, and also, here's the thing. We just had Gunther hold the belt for so long I don't want to see guys have very, 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 very long title reigns. I like keeping it fresh, especially because there's a big crop of talent that I don't feel like have had that opportunity to hold the belt because somebody's holding it for so long. And that's part of Triple H's vision initially of trying to get belts to feel prestigious again. And congratulations to Paul Levesque because he did that. I mean, it's a night and day difference. It's what we're starting to see right now is absolutely mind-boggling, because Braun Breaker later on goes backstage to Adam Pearce, and instead of being a gentleman and knocking nicely, what does he do? He bangs on the door. Adam Pearce comes out. Braun Breaker is like pissed off. He's fucking furious. He has every reason to be furious.
Yep.
Wasn't in King of the Ring. Now people are screwing him over in these matches. So what does he do? He goes and talks to Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce really doesn't give a shit because he's actually got some balls, and he doesn't take shit from people. Again, this is why general managers having personality traits is such a big deal. Sami Zayn enters, and he's there talking to Braun, and he's willing to put the belt on the line. I think, in my opinion, Billy, this is leading to a fatal four-way match at Money in the Bank. As of right now, it's confirmed that it's going to be both of them, but I think it's going to be fatal four-way.
I like that. I was not even thinking about that, but I like that. I think we haven't seen a fatal four-way match in a very long time. Like a straight fatal four-way match. I can't remember the last time we've seen one.
I mean, off the top of my head, I can't. I mean, we've had them, But
yeah, I know they've existed, but it's been a long time. So yeah, count me in for that. And this is like a perfect, because it's two separate feuds just mixed into one.
Well, again, WWE now is an open world where things are they're crossing into different stories. And now, because it's crossing into different stories and it's getting involved with what we're starting to see now from, I'm sorry. We're getting rated, by the way.
What in the
I was
world is
just like,
going on? This is on Twitch.
I'm trying not to lose my train of thought, but then we're getting a con raid.
Con raid.
So Conman167 has rated us on Twitch.
Oh, has he?
Yeah. You know, that's amazing considering that I don't use Twitch that often, but
Con Man just apologized.
No, never apologize, brother. Thank you.
We appreciate it. That's awesome.
I appreciate it. I definitely want to be simulcasting live on Twitch more. Yeah. So thank you guys. If you want to follow me on Twitch, you can. Also on YouTube and Twitter and X. Well, Twitter and X is the same thing, but I see some God, dude. I love it. I appreciate it.
That's awesome.
I don't know what oil up means, so let's just kind of throw that in there. Let's
oil up.
Conrad, yeah, nice.
They're over here doing the meme. Have you seen the meme?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Love it. See, you never know what's gonna happen live on the Ango show.
Man, no.
Absolutely crazy. So shout out to Con Man. Appreciate you. My guy is killing it right now. I love Con Man. One of my favorites.
I see his stuff on TikTok.
Oh, beast, bro. He's a beast.
Big fan, man.
Let's try to get back on track.
Yeah. Back to it.
Goodness gracious. I was going to say, I like the fact that these stories are crossing into each other. I like the fact that Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn is a great way to do a singles match for Braun Breaker, and I'm all for that. With that being said, though, I do want to point out that I like the idea of it being a fatal four-way match, because if Sami Zayn's going to drop the belt and not have a long title reign, this is a logical way of doing it. Also, if Ludwig Kaiser were to win, he just beat 3 of WWE's rising or most momentum guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If Braun Breaker beats all 3 of them, unbelievable feat for a guy who is, rising star.
Yeah.
If Sheamus wins against all 3 of these guys, he just won the Intercontinental Championship in a very challenging, difficult way. So I like this idea of it being fatal 4-way, but for now, WWE confirmed it's Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn. So I'm all for it. I'm super excited about that, obviously. Very much love this match. There was some breaking news after this match. WrestleVotes and Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select both chiming in that Ludwig Kaiser may in fact be injured. So
I seen somebody post that in the chat. Oh man, I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, injuries happen in wrestling and it sucks, and I don't want that to be the case, especially for a guy like this who is really starting to just kill it. Like,
especially with the show in Germany coming up and stuff like that. Ah, man.
Yeah, definitely crazy stuff could be happening right now. So I will keep everybody updated on my channel. Every day I'm talking about pro wrestling news and rumors. Definitely something to pay attention to, because if he is legitimately injured, that's a big blow. We know that. Mm-hmm. If he is injured, a triple threat match is still perfectly fine. So
yeah,
definitely
there's still a lot of story to tell.
Exactly.
Still a lot of story to tell.
Love this match. Love the way Braun Breaker is being presented. Absolutely a big fan of what they're doing here. Truth be told, I think Braun Breaker is... I don't think the plan was necessarily for him to become the next Intercontinental Champion, but the reactions from the crowd, and this guy's a heel, the reactions from the crowd is everything. So definitely something to pay attention to.
Absolutely.
Definitely more to talk about, but we do have some super chats that I want to get into. Some shout outs. Sam Piboon dropped $4.99. He says, will we see Rhea Ripley return next week to attack Liv Morgan after Liv Morgan beat Zelina Vega? Sam, I answered this question in a video today on the channel. There are some rumors that Rhea Ripley could return to TV despite not being cleared to wrestle on television. Now, with that being said, to answer your question now, I don't think we will see her return next week. We will talk more about this in depth once we get to JD and Finn winning the tag titles. Trust me, guys, you will not want to miss my analysis on this. There is a very big reason why the titles switched hands, and I will reveal that to you guys shortly. Sam, thank you for the $4.99. Justin Kennington dropping a $5 super chat and says, Bo Dallas video package was the greatest video package WWE has ever done. Justin Kennington, me and Billy will have a lot to say, and it's coming up in just a few moments. But I will tell everybody, spoiler alert, this is hands down one of my favorite things that they have ever done.
I think it might be mine.
And lately there's been a lot of great things that I love, but this is very, 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 very good stuff.
Yeah,
that I'm
we'll
super
dive into
excited
that.
to talk about.
We'll dive into it.
Absolutely. Robin Plays Games, longtime member of the channel. He extended his membership for 32 months now, but he dropped a $5 super chat. Robin says, I just brushed my teeth and drank water. How's your guys' day going? Man, WWE killed it with the video packages today, fam. And I actually think this could be a good way to segue into video packages because this happened a little bit later on in the show, but I do want to talk about the Seth Rollins video package. So, Robin, my day is going great. Billy, how's your day?
My day is great.
Great. Robin, I hope your day is going great as well. Seth Rollins had a video package tonight. Mm-hmm. I don't know who I don't know who edited it. I don't know. I didn't know it was NBA YoungBoy's song. You told me that through text.
I told you.
I thought the hook to that song was fucking incredible.
Yeah, that was Bailey Zimmerman.
This was, and you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to just say it. Y'all want to know why I gripe on AEW not doing video packages and shit? It's because AEW has done very, very high quality video packages, just like WWE.
They're so in depth.
And it's not about anything other than just cool presentation. The video package that we saw for Seth Rollins tonight, if you guys didn't watch it, please watch it. The vibe, the song, fucking unbelievable. Like really good shit. And
the fact that they have the rights to that song is crazy.
I never heard the song, but honestly,
that song made it. The video package.
I stopped listening to a lot of modern day music, like hip hop top 40.
Yeah,
I listen to Albanian music and house music.
Yep, that's so fair, but that is a great song.
Fire. Video package was crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I don't know how or who or why, but an elite video package for sure. Like it's one of those where I'll go back and watch it and probably get chills because it's just so freaking good.
Yep.
So good. Robin, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Big Hero Chris, $2 super chat. He says, Dom eating chicken tenders with no sauce is crazy.
I feel a certain type of way. I was going to say something about it eventually. I felt a certain way about that.
Let's talk about this.
Not a condiment user.
Let's talk about this. I don't know where it was at the show in terms of the show, but I want to talk a lot about Judgment Day. There was a backstage segment tonight on WWE Raw. Bro, Dominic, JD, and Finn are playing WWE 2K on PlayStation, and Dominic's got a freaking huge batch of chicken tenders, chicken nuggets, I think. Dude, not chicken tenders, bro. There's a difference.
It was chicken nuggets.
Yes, because there is a difference between chicken nuggets and chicken tenders.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
huge difference.
So we all know that. So Big Hero Chris is kind of lying, but it's all good. We'll forgive him because he is right.
Because it is chicken nuggets.
Yeah. But Dom got chicken nuggets. I mean, bro,
there was like 50.
You got a shorty in front of you who giving you food, video games, and don't want to really bother you while you're playing video games with your friends. She's a keeper.
She is, but you have to understand, we can't forget about everything that Rhea did for Dom. People are getting things misinterpreted.
Tell me about it. What'd she do for Dirty D? What'd she do for him, bro?
Okay. All right. So listen. People are making Rhea out to be like this really, really bad woman. She's not a bad woman. She's just in a rough way. She had to step away from her family for a moment. It's like somebody going off into the service, right? She's done her due diligence. Now here comes this little sneaky one trying to run up in, trying to be like, hey, look at everything that I could do for you forget what she's done.
Yeah.
It's like John Cena for me, you know? Look at everything Roman Reigns has done. What, you want me to forget about everything that Cena did? I'm not. I can't. Right? Rhea turned Dom out. Turned him into the person that he is today. And I'm supposed to forget about that? What? Because Liv wants to feed him chicken nuggets and let him play video games with his friends? I bet Rhea lets him do that. She just didn't have to gloat it.
Nah, let's not forget though. Let's not forget Liv Morgan did a little bit more than just chicken tenders with no sauce. All right, because she sent him something,
bro. That look on everybody's face.
What did Liv Morgan send?
You know.
Nah, I don't know. That reaction was crazy though. That's new meme material.
Well, bro, all the homies jumping in, looking at the pic. Come on.
She sent him the goodies, huh?
He said, "That's cool."
Come on. I mean, I'm just asking. Now, don't get me wrong. I kept the screen grab because I'm gonna use that like every time Lola Vice posts a selfie.
Don't tell said that.
Why? Fuck. Horny police, dude.
Yeah, gotta show your ID at the door.
Yeah. So here's the thing, man. This whole thing with the Judgment Day and Liv Morgan is amazing. I mean, it's really, really good. Later on in the show, too, Zelina Vega. So Liv Morgan's calling out Dom. Dom comes, well, hold on. Reverse. Because he does come out. But Zelina Vega comes out too. And I just really love how in this segment too, when Liv is calling out Dom and Dom's really like he's not interested. Like homeboy really loves Rhea Ripley or something. I don't know. But my boy, it's pretty easy. Like if you got two baddies and one of them isn't there, you know.
What?
I'm just saying one of them isn't there.
Okay.
And she kind of controls him. And Dom is, you know, is he single? Is he with her? You know, we don't know.
They haven't specified, but
she kind of left him. Like they haven't told us if they're still talking on the side or something, or like why he isn't like talking to her and shit. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Like maybe he's single. I don't know. But all I do know is Liv Morgan wants him, and temptation's a hell of a thing. And my boy has not folded yet.
He's the strongest man in the world, is what I'm saying. He's stronger than Mark Henry.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is that, you know, Liv Morgan is getting extra freaky on Monday nights, and she's sending him pictures, and she just wants Dirty D, and
you know, people go to work really hard on Mondays, and she's just out here doing the do, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
This is leading into some very good content. WWE has found a way to make this enjoyable, but what's even better is Zelina Vega comes out and like she wants the Women's World Championship again, reshifting the focus from, hey, Liv, like there's more important stuff than just what you're dealing with Dom. Kind of a nice little fuck you to the IWC, who says that Liv Morgan is not doing well.
That. Yeah.
So then what's really cool is Dominic and Zelina are right there. And Dom tries to play it off like he doesn't even want Liv Morgan to have the belt. But then Liv Morgan attacks Zelina Vega. And then what really becomes cool here is that it backs Dominic into the corner. Mm-hmm. And then Dominic pushes Rey Mysterio away, which now like Liv Morgan thinks like Dom loves her. So what she's doing, she don't fucking love Dom.
No, she's trying. Dom. She hates Rhea.
She hates Rhea, and she's trying to take over the Judgment Day. And obviously, this is all going to turn into something very, very special. And if you're not paying attention to it, you got to pay attention, because this is some really, really good storytelling. So I definitely want to talk about that. Shout out to Big Hero Chris and everybody who dropped a super chat. This Liv Morgan Judgment Day stuff is actually really hitting for me. It's like we could joke and stuff like that, but like Rhea Ripley isn't there. Dom is dealing with temptation, but he's trying to act like he's not tempted. But you know,
he's trying to be strong with it.
Yeah, but like here's what's really funny too is later on in the show too, you got Damian Priest going into the locker and Liv Morgan's like, "Hi Damian, bye Damian," and it's Finn inside the locker.
She doesn't want Dominic. She hates Rhea. That's the whole story here. And
But what the fuck is the thing with
Finn Balor?
Yes, because Finn Balor had the key card as well to the hotel. So is my boy like is he?
He's dude. This is how you break him up. You take everything away from Rhea. You build them up, which we'll get into later with the tag team championships. You build them up and then you break them down. And how do you break them down? You break them down from the inside. What better way?
A very strong but why would she help the Judgment Day win the tag titles?
Because you have to build them to break them. Because as much as she's helping them, look at everything that she's doing to tear them apart.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you're right. Because Dom doesn't want her. So they say, you know who does? Finn. And where does that leave us? That leaves us in a hell of a pickle, doesn't it?
I mean, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just my thought on that whole storyline.
Yeah. Got to give some props to the crowd as well. Robin just dropped a $2 super chat. He says sloppy seconds.
Man, they were yelling at.
Great line, but the crowd really ate this one up. And again, just got to give credit where credit is due because the crowd was really fucking good, man. But it's like when a segment like this happens and Zelina Vega is delivering a great promo.
I was getting annoyed.
So like it was actually funny because the crowd was so good and they all performed very well here. But I'm like, fuck, just shut up so I can hear Dom talk, you know?
It was making me mad.
But it was good. It was very good, very good stuff from them.
It was. That crowd, I've never seen in Indiana. Apparently, ever since they got Caitlin Clark, suddenly they're one of the hottest commodities in town.
Are they?
Yeah. Indiana, apparently.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Wait, hold on. I just realized the Colts play at Lucas Oil Field or whatever it's called. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense. You got Caitlin Clark, you got the Colts, which no, hold on. Peyton Manning doesn't play anymore, so never mind.
But dude, Caitlin Clark is a sensation.
Yeah, that's true.
And she's really, and then the Pacers just went as far as they did in the NBA playoffs. Having Tyrese Halliburton, if some of you are basketball fans, maybe some of you aren't. Tyrese Halliburton was there on the phone with Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah. Well, actually, now that I think about it, I don't think there's any correlation with Caitlin Clark being like helping Indiana, like you're talking about with Indiana and so wrestling or whatever.
It's just it's not that. I think it's just more or less like Indiana's becoming more of a hot commodity, and maybe that
in general.
Yeah, in general.
Okay. Yeah, I can kind of see that. I mean, I don't pay attention too much to the WNBA, but that's also because I really don't pay attention to anything other than like Pistons, Albanian music, wrestling, and UFC.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and it's kind of off topic, but it's kind of interesting how you could tie this into wrestling. There is a lot of controversy and talks on social media about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, I think is her name, from the Chicago team.
Yeah.
And this is how social media works. Social media is fucking whack. And they try to point people and put people in like this war like they do with WWE and AEW. But I think when there's so much talk about athletes in general and there's athletes with buzz, WWE is typically the company that likes to figure out a way to implement it into their programming. I don't know. I mean, they were just in Chicago last week and they didn't do anything with the Reese girl, but like Caitlin Clark being in Indiana, plus they're also in season right now. So let me point that out. They're playing games and shit, but I wouldn't be shocked if WWE tries to get involved with WNBA because they're also growing significantly. It's kind of like a side note, but yeah. Shout out to Robin for the super chat. Thank you, my boy. We get a triple threat match for the women's Money in the Bank qualifier. I want to talk about this just very quickly. Lyra Valkyria picked up the win over Shayna Baszler and Io Sky. No, Kairi Sane, right?
Kairi Sane, yep.
Yeah, Kairi Sane. Great match. Lyra Valkyria won. She got great crowd reactions. Logical finish. What What's your assessment of Lyra Valkyria since her call up?
She's gonna be everything that WWE wants her to be. She's your baby face in the women's division. It's gonna you give her a little bit more time. Obviously, you still have a very strong women's division currently, right?
Yeah.
She's one of those people. I said it in one of my videos, and I feel the same way. I think you can give somebody like Carmelo Hayes and somebody like Lyra Valkyria the Money in the Bank briefcase and let them sit with it for some time and let it build, right?
Yeah.
Those are two people that I think can utilize the briefcase to its full potential. You know what I mean? Especially, Carmelo being a heel, and then Lyra being the super baby face, and she'll go on, have a great match with Liv Morgan potentially. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I view it. Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, whoever. She'll have a great match with somebody, know? And I think that's, you're allowing characters to shine through this. So my assessment on Lyra Valkyria is I didn't understand a lot of her work in NXT because I wasn't a consistent NXT watcher for the longest time.
Yeah, we had talks of that.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I'm tapped in now. Chill out. I'm tapped in. Hold on. But seeing her on Raw and just her entrance too, they care about her.
Yeah.
They like her a lot. So I can only imagine that she's going to the moon eventually.
It's tough. I mean, I don't want to predict Money in the Bank just yet, but there's clearly something between Chelsea Green on SmackDown and Lyra Valkyria on Raw. There's something that WWE sees in both of them, which I see it too for different reasons, but it's almost like I want both of them to be Money in the Bank, right?
Yeah, but only one can win.
Yeah, I have a very strong feeling when WWE is ready to release the mid-card title for Raw and SmackDown, I get a strong feeling that Lyra Valkyria will definitely be one to get it.
Yeah.
But after seeing like what they're doing with Rhea and also what they're doing with Liv and the world title, I would like to see Lyra get a chance at some point. Like, she's too good, bro. She's good. The crowd loved her. The reactions are great. Like, it's got to happen at some point. It has to. It has to. And I don't know how they get there, but solid wins like this matter, and it's logical finishes. And I also just want to point out it's probably time to just send Shayna Baszler back to NXT and just let her be there full time.
Yep.
Just for now until they, circulate some of the talent and stuff like that. But
you
yeah,
do what
very
you
good
did
stuff.
with Baron Corbin.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
We did have Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed, and Chad Gable. Chad Gable comes out, cuts the promo. Do you believe in miracles? He's alive. He wasn't shot in the head.
For anybody that was wondering out there.
And Chad Gable wins. He's going to be in Money in the Bank. So, two things I needed to point out here. During his entrance, there was the glitches on the Tron's ringside barricade.
Yeah.
So the Wyatt 6 are seriously targeting Chad Gable. And then the other thing I was going to mention was that this pretty much cements that they are coming after Chad Gable at Money in the Bank. Like, Chad Gable ain't winning Money in the Bank, and it's going to be because of the Wyatt 6, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to play a big part. They're going to play a huge part.
But then, after he wins this great match with Braun and Bronson Reed, the lights shut down. Smoke on the ring. And Nikki Cross, a.k.a. Sister Abigail.
Wow.
She's there.
I smile every time I think about stuff like this.
But Billy, you know what's fascinating here? And this is the thing that I really loved. Chad Gable was scared and he was looking. But he did what a logical person would do when a fucking scary ass witch walks up to you.
Jumped out the fucking ring.
He left. Logic.
Logic.
Oh my God,
Jeez.
crazy.
It's not like he's standing there just cowering down. No, get the fuck out of the ring.
Yeah, he gets out. He gets out. And then Nikki Cross delivers a package to Michael Cole. Now, Michael Cole later on reveals that it was a VHS tape. So this is cool in my opinion. Not a DVD,
VHS.
not a Blu-ray.
I know there's some kids in here watching that don't know what the fuck a VHS tape is.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
But it's a VHS, and Michael Cole says he's going to give it to the assistant or whatever ringside, and they're going to try to give it to the production team.
Mentioning the production team, let me see if I can find a VHS tape. Great. Love
Such
that.
a small little thing, but what I'm about to say might piss a lot of people off, but I'm going to say it. We know that the Wyatt Six came out last week with a big bang. The general opinion was, this is great, but how are you going to follow up with it?
Mm-hmm.
From the minute Raw started tonight, we knew that Wyatt Six were going to be involved somehow, some way in this episode. We saw Alexa Bliss on the production truck. We see the Wyatt Six on the teaser through Chad Gable's entrance. We get the light shut down.
Yeah.
And then we get the VHS tape. Really quick, I'm just throwing this up on the screen because I do actually. NFF Boog says y'all don't remember the VHS Rugrats orange tape. I got it.
I'm pretty sure I have it too.
I have it. I'll find it and I'll show you guys on stream next time.
Uh-oh.
I have it. Funny as fuck. I don't know. I'll never throw away that shit. But
the orange tape is crazy.
Michael Cole says we'll give the tape to the production truck. Let's just talk about this now.
Yep.
Later on in the episode, WWE Raw reveals what's on the VHS tape. And it's a sit down between Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas. For the first time on WWE television, Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas together. Now, I watched it back. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they were sitting in the Firefly Funhouse.
They were. I mentioned it in my video that I posted. They were.
It looked like it.
It was blacked out, but yeah, they were in the fire. If you look at the end, the door.
Yeah.
It was.
This is going to piss people off. I don't give a flying shit. Y'all want to know what I want from my wrestling? Y'all want to know what I care about when I watch wrestling? The shit that makes you feel something. This is some of the coolest shit that WWE has ever done. This Wyatt Six thing, I fucking miss Bray Wyatt, bro. Like, one of my favorites. But this is so damn good that if Bray Wyatt was alive, I would just love to see him part of it. Because I know this can't happen without Bray Wyatt existing.
It doesn't happen without it.
And when I saw Bo Dallas, and I'm paraphrasing here, I feel bad because I'm probably not going to be 100% accurate in what I'm saying, but so you guys got to watch it. But it was something about Uncle Howdy telling Bo Dallas something about exposing his something like using your brother's legacy or something,
and almost like tarnishing it in some way.
Not tarnishing it, but like using it for like for fame, whatever,
like your own good.
Yeah, like for your own benefit, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'll watch it back 1,000 times because it was just a really good segment. But
yeah,
I loved how that was a criticism that people had in the IWC. Exploiting. Thank you. Money 5. Shout out to you. Exploiting. You're exploiting, like, and it starts off like asking about your brother's death. Like, how do you feel now? Mm-hmm. Nothing. I feel like I'm nothing. Right? To me, this was Bo Dallas being questioned by Uncle Howdy, which we know they're the same person. And Bo Dallas is pulling off the Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse thing where Bray was the human and the Fiend was the alter ego. And I think they're doing that same thing here. But when I see Bo Dallas talking about his brother's death, and they're not shying away from it, this felt real. This felt deep. This felt important. It felt fuck, it felt like honestly, I had the chills, bro.
Yeah.
I had the chills.
Mm-hmm.
I watched this and I genuinely had the chills. And I'm so glad the chat was saying the exploiting thing, because that was it.
Yeah.
Like, that was a concern. And then there was something about, I didn't write it down. I don't think I did. Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna find it, because it was something I fucking loved, man. There was a certain line that I loved. Maybe I did write it down. Ah, yes. Bo Dallas says, we were going to rule the world together, and we finally made it. We were there. We had it. Then it was taken away from me. There was no one on this earth that feels what I feel from his loss. And I hear this line, and the emotion, the delivery, the way Bo Dallas said it, chills, bro. It does not happen that often in pro wrestling where you genuinely get the chills. I don't know how to explain it. I genuinely got the chills.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I get the chills from this segment. And bro, I think one of the craziest parts about that is, like, we talk about a follow-up to the massacre that they did last week. Where's Pat McAfee? I don't know. But they delivered a VHS between Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas. There is something very significant with that video package. Being in the Firefly Funhouse, addressing that, you know, they're doing this Wyatt 6 to exploit his brother. Money.
I will. Are you cool if I give my thoughts?
Hit me.
So, the one thing that stuck out to me were the first words that came out of this segment coming into it were, "Are you happy?" We talked about it earlier with Drew McIntyre and stuff like that. You talk about the human aspect. When I tell you that even though this man was showing his dark side, you've seen Bo Dallas, the human, and you've seen the pain, and you've seen how sad he was about his brother. Taking away from the show that we're watching and taking away from what this world is, this is a real human being. And them playing on that emotion, honestly, is, as a fan and as a watcher and as a person who's gone through things like this, right, who understands loss and serious loss, you can't do anything but appreciate it. I get choked up thinking about it because I think about Bray Wyatt too, and how much I miss Bray Wyatt, or how much Ango misses Bray Wyatt. You know what I'm saying? There's just so much beautifulness behind all of this. And when I tell you I had choked up, but also in the same time smiled, because you question yourself of, like, you know, what is it that they're going to do next? Well, they just brought out the best thing that they could do, and the most important thing that they could do. They just explained to you who this person was and why this was happening.
They humanized
Uncle Howdy.
You know what's fascinating? And I'm glad you said this stuff, but we talked about how real it felt with Drew and CM Punk earlier in the show. This is another example of when reality being blended into the program completely changes my thoughts, because I love when I can feel something in wrestling. And Bo Dallas has always been a great performer, but Bo Dallas was always a nobody compared to his brother. Bo Dallas was a comedy gimmick.
He was Bo Leave.
The B team, you know, even when he was the B team, him and Curtis Axel, or, you know, like they made a mockery of the Wyatt family, right? People forget that, but that was a real thing. And when you see him tackling this question of his brother being dead, and like him talking,
doing this,
Yeah, like all these different things. But then what I really love too is Uncle Howdy didn't come to the ring and cut a promo. That's pretty crazy that they can film this and have it become so effective to the point that people are sitting there complete silence and feeling it. And it's like, man, they're kind of sympathetic towards this. And what makes it crazy is that seems to be a big part of what this is going to be. The dark side is consuming Bo Dallas.
Yeah, because is if you understand, and I know a lot of people here do, but if you understand loss, you understand what it can do to you. I've always said, and it's something that I stand for, it's that when something like this, something like a big tragedy happens, there's always two routes that you can go. It can either consume you, or you can, in my aspect, I'll just use mine. You live for the person. What's happening is Bo Dallas isn't being able to live freely for his brother. He's hurt. He's upset.
Yeah.
And the darkness is consuming him.
So I love this line. I wrote this down. Bo Dallas says, they want to forget about me. They want to forget about all of us. We made them all remember. And then the camera shows Uncle Howdy. Yes, we did.
Because him and Uncle Howdy are one and the same.
Do you think they're going to do this for all the characters?
I think we're going to get in-depth detail on each and every single one of them. I broke down in one of my videos talking about, I'm not to change the subject or anything like that, but why Dexter Lumis is playing Mercy the Buzzard, right?
Let's hear your breakdown, because I have mine,
which isn't confirmed, by the way.
It is confirmed. He is Mercy the Buzzard.
Okay, so what my thought process is all of these people had family that left them. And people don't realize, we'll just use Nikki Cross. And how did she have family? Alexa Bliss.
I have one even better for you.
Even better.
Sanity.
Boom. Left her. The Way. Indy Hartwell. Up and left. Dexter Lumis. You have to understand, Dexter Lumis left. He was nowhere to be. All these people were nowhere to be found. You can make the argument Joe Gacy a little bit, but even he was off TV for some time.
He was.
So hear me. It all has to do with family leaving. Schism. Was that the name? Yeah. Schism. For Joe Gacy. Parker Boudreaux. Right? Everybody's left these people. So what do? You fall on the people that are hurt too. Yeah. It's easy to. And that's exactly what happened. They all fell on each other and relied on one another.
Yeah, so that's what I love about so much of this. That was my breakdown. So when they showed on SmackDown, and then they played the same recap video, when they show all of the characters backstage from last week's attack, they did the whole thing where it flashed up on the screen of the puppet. So Joe Gacy's Huskus the pig, Mercy the Buzzard is Dexter. But yeah, Nikki lost sanity. Schism left Joe Gacy. Eric Rowan, because unfortunately it is real life, but he lost Bray and Brody Lee. And obviously Bo Dallas lost Bray. You bring them all together, and they all found each other. But what's fascinating was, even back when Bray was still alive and they were doing teases, Dexter Lumis was drawing Nikki Cross in the background of those backstage segments. So I know people get pissed off when I talk about AEW not having layers to their storylines, but like this is the type of shit where even when Bray was still alive and there was rumors of the Wyatt Six, like I genuinely believe that like they knew what the plan was.
Oh, I think there was always a plan for the Wyatt Six.
I think it was always these 6 people.
Yes, I agree. I think I think I think we fantasy booked it into reality, and they were going to make it a reality as time went on. I think
Well,
that's
I
how.
mean, but if you go back in time, like aside from Eric Rowan, because he wasn't on TV, there was so many clues about all these other
Well,
people.
yeah, and then you looked at them and you were like, "Oh, these they all play a part together, and it makes sense."
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that 100%.
This video was one of the coolest things I've seen from WWE, and I just love that they showed Bo Dallas. You know, it's one of those concerns that I've always had with Bo being Uncle Howdy. Is Uncle Howdy just gonna wrestle in his mask? Because Bo Dallas can wrestle and he can do his thing without being in the mask, you know. But
So,
does he have that reputation for constantly being a comedy character where it just won't work? And after what I saw today, I was like, he doesn't need to always wrestle with a mask and costume.
so that was going to be my thing that we talked about earlier when I said it's kind of hard to depict the two and how to separate it.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the best way to separate it is don't let him wrestle in the mask all the time. Only let, almost kind of how you treated, or how Triple H treated the Demon, Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Let it be a spectacle almost. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I want to emphasize, and I don't think we have to worry about this, but letting it, because you question like, oh, this is one of the biggest roles on TV, eventually he's going to have to start chasing down the belt, especially if he's the quote unquote main character. So here's what I'm going to say is I don't think that we have to worry about that anymore. I don't think that that's because remember with the Fiend and how much of a worry it was going to chase the belt and how everybody was like, no, like keep him away from it. I think now we're going to see that and we're going to get that to where this thing is such a big part of TV that it's bigger than a belt.
So let's just call it what it is. The Fiend having the championship was not a bad thing. The physical nature of him winning a belt was not a bad thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vince McMahon booking him with the championship belt
was
absolutely fucking atrocious.
Yes.
But Uncle Howdy, his mission, his QR codes, his teases, it's not about wins and losses for this guy.
Nope.
This group is about togetherness and finding each other. Hurt people.
Just hurt them. Hurt them as much as you can.
This is a cult.
Literally.
And they all have a reason to be together. And how they tell this story will be very interesting. But what they have shown us so far, 2 weeks in a row, I'm all fucking in. And the reason why is because they're going after Chad Gable, right? Chad Gable at some point is going to need some help. Tonight, they continued to plant the seed of the Creeds joining Chad Gable. So now you could do multi-man matches.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's some stuff that you could do. Ivy Nile and Abby the Witch. Like there's things that they can do, but they can't rush it. Let us get connected to these characters first. And then you could start doing the wrestling stuff.
Well, dude, that's like why during the segment where he just said, I need help.
Yes.
That one line and then it going to the match had so much impact. People didn't even realize it.
Chad Gable, though, losing to Uncle Howdy, by the way, should force him to really go all in with that heel turn.
Yes.
Because when he went to the Creed, not the Creeds, but when he went to the Alpha Academy asking for help, that felt genuine. It felt genuine. And it was almost like they're about to turn him face. Like his apology seemed so real and so genuine
that it was like he was never a bad guy in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what was he talking about? You guys are my family.
Yep.
What do all these people have in common?
Family.
They lost their family. So I think when they beat the living shit out of Chad Gable, that's going to actually uniquely make him an incredible heel with the Creeds.
Yeah,
in fact,
he's gonna say screw family.
And I think a lot of times, no. See, that's the thing. Chad Gable doesn't need to join the Wyatt 6. That's not what I'm saying here either.
Mm-hmm.
But not screw family. By him realizing that he's losing to a whole bunch of people who lost their family, he needs to truly go find that real family, which is the Creeds and Ivy Nile.
Okay, that makes sense.
And by getting beat up by Uncle Howdy and them and going through this experience with them, it will snap him into reality. His heel turn, it's like Drew McIntyre's heel turn. You have some heelish tendencies, but you're still technically not a heel. He's turned
just
heel.
doing some mean things.
He's been doing some mean things because he needs to win, right?
Yeah.
But if he's going through this experience and then he needs the family, he found his family, and that's when you really cement the heel turn. It's like when Drew originally turned heel, pretty logical reason to turn heel, right?
Yeah, most logical heel turn in the business.
Exactly. We had a lot of those conversations.
Yes,
so
sir.
Now when you factor in the fact that he's kind of gone through this experience and he's still losing and he doesn't have family, he'll find his family.
Yes, he will.
Loved it. Absolutely love this. I love how it also led to the just in general, like the Michael Cole situation on commentary, like with the VHS, giving it to Michael Cole, selling this thing. I did have a concern with this though.
Okay.
And Robin dropped a $2 super chat. He says, "So what do we think happened with Pat McAfee? Because this was not answered." Now, Billy, before you answer this question, I'm going to ask you. Michael Cole said in the beginning of the night, we shouldn't read too much into it that Pat McAfee wasn't there. So Michael Cole warned us not to think too much into it. But naturally, as us wrestling fans and with WWE and the little details,
we think a lot into it.
Especially because the VHS and Pat McAfee's not there, and the Pat McAfee show's kind of been hacked by the Wyatt 6. Do you think they will answer this question for us?
Yeah, I do.
Do you think it's going to happen on WWE television, or do you think it gets answered on the Pat McAfee show?
I think it gets answers on Pat show.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think just again, you're using two different platforms, right?
Yeah,
because you're using technically ESPN, right?
Yeah,
as a way to get over WWE.
Yeah.
And because I'll tell you, the video, just not to keep mentioning this video that I posted, but the video that I posted, a lot of people were like, who are these people? What is happening? What are you even talking about? And they made me seem crazy.
Yeah.
But realistically, they've all moved over and they've asked the question, well, what happened?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think they're going to answer it on Pat's show because you have to have the continuity between the two. They did a lot on Raw tonight. Now you have to understand Pat goes live every single day.
Yeah.
So every single day they got to do something, right?
Yeah.
This is a way to continue their show. That's just my thought. So I think you'll see the answer over on Pat's show.
I hope we get the answer on the Pat McAfee show, and then I think they should address it on WWE television. But I did kind of wish that they gave us an answer here.
Yeah, I mean,
they didn't.
I think we all wanted to answer.
And I think it's one of those cases where we will get our answer, but I hope we do. But Robin, it's hard to answer this question. We really don't know.
Just gotta wait and see.
But remember, we were all anticipating that gift or that box to have something to do with Pat McAfee, and instead it had to be like a mission statement for the identity of Bo Dallas. And what happened?
They just wrote it out to Pat.
Maybe they tried to air it on the Pat McAfee show, and Pat McAfee was like, "No, I don't know." But yeah,
the deep dive into it.
Robin, thanks for the super chat. David Primero dropped another one. $4.99. Lyra Valkyria is bland. Her finisher is weak. Tiffany or Chelsea for Money in the Bank, much better. Who do you think will win NXT? For wait, what NXT?
Are we missing something?
I feel like I'm missing something, or maybe something wrong with the super chat going up here. I will say this though, I don't agree with Lyra Valkyria being bland and her finisher being weak. I think she's got a lot of great things about her, personality wise, presentation wise. In terms of Money in the Bank, I think Tiffany, Chelsea, Lyra are all great choices. And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I will say that Money in the Bank should always go to somebody becoming a rising star. And thankfully, with 3 of the people that you named, they all qualify for that reason. They are all rising stars in the WWE. Money in the Bank should always be to elevate somebody.
Yep.
And I do think that all 3 of these could be great winners.
Absolutely.
I would also like to say I think whoever wins the men's Money in the Bank this year will fail their cash in, and I think the women will succeed.
Yes.
So just something to consider as we see these qualifying matches happen.
I agree.
David, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. A couple more things to discuss, so let's get through it. Uncle Howdy. Unholy Union, Elba Fire, and Isla Dawn tag team match against Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Unholy Union win. Damage Control attack them. Just something to keep in mind. Decent tag team match. Nothing
not
bad.
Much to say on it. Just glad to see them on TV and having some real teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Give it time. It'll work.
Yeah, Karrion Kross versus Kofi Kingston. Not that long of a match. Not bad. Not great.
Good continuity, though. Good storytelling.
Yeah, another story. Mid-card story. No belts on the line. Kofi ends up losing to the Final Prayer, but Karrion Kross gets the win because AOP and the Final Testament beat the living shit out of Austin Creed, aka Xavier Woods.
Used his TNA name. It's crazy.
No, his TNA name was actually Consequences Creed.
Yes.
We'll have to brush you up on TNA history, but it's
okay.
Hold
on. Chill out.
No. It's okay. It's okay. I'll help you out, brother. I love what they're doing with Karrion Kross and the Kofi Kingston stuff and the New Day. I think they're going to end up splitting, but this doesn't have as much meat on the bone right now. And I think right now this is just getting kind of like impacted by the fact that so much is already happening in WWE.
You have to find one story to just be like, all right, well, it's kind of good.
The storyline's fine. I don't think it takes precedence over all this other stuff. Braun Breaker and the Intercontinental Championship, nor should it actually take precedence over that stuff, but Braun Breaker and all this other stuff that's happening on TV, and then you have the Liv Morgan and Judgment Day and Awesome Truth was a big part of tonight's episode, and then you obviously have Drew and CM Punk. There's just so much happening where some storylines will obviously not be the big focus. That's why this match wasn't that big, but I mean, last week they started to tease a little bit of a split between the New Day. And look, if Big E isn't coming back, fucking do it, bro.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to bring Big E into it, this is, let those guys go have a singles run by themselves.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to. And in that match, you want to talk about getting invested? Think about that match for a moment.
Yeah.
You want to get people invested. Whew, that's one hell of a way to do it. That's the longest running tag team that has just never broken up.
Yeah. Kind of sad, though. Instead of them breaking up, though, I'd rather just see them go heel.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either.
I would like to see that, but
they were a heel group to begin with, weren't they?
Yeah, but so short-lived.
I know.
New Day became a moneymaker as baby faces, so
yeah, I know.
Yeah. WWE has a video package for Jacob Fatu. They're putting him over big time. So we're going to have to watch SmackDown for that and see what happens there. Just kind of keep that in mind.
Yep.
Awesome Truth versus Judgment Day. How we got this match. R-Truth is a dumbass. He thought Liv Morgan was Carmella and she was seducing him into basically talking to Adam Pearce to have Miz and R-Truth defend the belts in the main event. And R-Truth does it, and Adam Pearce approves it. They get this main event tag team championship match. A lot of interference and stuff like that. Liv Morgan hugs R-Truth, hits him with a move while the ref is distracted. Finn Balor hits the coup de grace, and he pins him. They win. The new champions end the show.
Yep.
On top of the stage with Liv Morgan. Oh, Rhea Ripley's gonna be so damn mad, bro.
She ain't gonna be happy.
She ain't gonna be happy.
I'll tell you that. She got a lot of beef with a lot of people. Suddenly.
I'll say this: JD McDonough and Finn Balor holding the tag titles is a beautiful thing considering their history. So I'm very happy from a personal standpoint. I'm very happy that they get to kind of like do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is logical and it makes sense. The writing is very good and very, very well thought out. Where I am disappointed, though, since Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were undisputed champions, I was getting excited about the tag title splitting, getting new titles, getting rebranded. And all we've had is our Awesome Truth. And now the belts are in Judgment Day's hands.
Well, I mean,
so I'm not saying it's bad, but what I'm saying is the Creed brothers, Pretty Deadly. There's so many more fucking tag teams, and right now it's almost 1 a.m. So I'm gonna fucking forget. But so many tag teams that could be tag champions. DIY got moved to SmackDown, and that's probably gonna happen at some point. But you have AOP. I would have loved to seen WWE since WrestleMania 38. I would have loved to seen more teams hold the tag titles and like building out the division properly.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. But again, I think it goes down to like, you got to give it time, but I understand also the idea of there's been a lot of time because 39 to now is a long time. But realistically, like, I'm just not wanting to disgrace the titles either, or just juggle them around and put them on the teams or whatever the case is, and still let some of these guys get used to the fans, like AOP, for instance, who, their stint on the main roster was very short-lived in the beginning. And then Gargano and Ciampa, I'll just use them next as like guys who were in NXT, and like not a lot of people watched NXT. For a long time, you had at least Austin Theory on your TV screen pretty often, or you had R-Truth and The Miz on your screen pretty often.
Yeah.
So I think it's just one of those things where it's like it'll come in time, and now people are starting to gravitate towards people like Ciampa and Gargano, for instance. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they already are because they're starting to get reactions. But
yes.
Like when I look at Raw and I see like LWO, for example, like why haven't they held the tag titles?
Yeah.
I
agree.
Like I said, I'm not mad at the tag title change. I'm not mad at the way this was booked or written or something. I just feel like there is a lot more to be desired.
There's a lot of teams and a lot of good people to hold those titles.
And I don't feel like they've really given people that chance.
No.
They've given a lot of people in the mid card the ability to break out, and we saw with Ludwig, and we're seeing it with Braun Breaker and Bronson and Braun and all these other guys. But I feel like the tag team division kind of is missing that opportunity. And I think that's where it's weird to me, though, Billy. It's weird to me. Something about it just feels weird because I don't hate this booking decision, but like, do you know where I'm coming from? Like, I just feel like they could have been doing more.
I do, because even when we were off stream, you were talking about like, how it was doubtful that they were going to give them the belts, and then they do it.
I didn't think they were going to do it.
I know. But even realistically, like, it makes all the sense in the world right now. Again, what I talked about earlier, building up and then breaking down, eventually those titles, this is a good way to get those titles onto somebody like a Creed brothers or AOP. You know what I mean? Like, this is a good way to maneuver them off of the Miz and Truth, because you understand why they went to JD and Finn because of the storyline and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you ask me, I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to be a 1-month transitional champion. I don't think that'll be the case, but I definitely see them having a very short reign and it not being as strong-lived as maybe the Miz and Truth.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, because there's just guys not being used. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are supposed to be on Raw. They're not being used,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
the New Day might be breaking up. Like, I don't know. There's just a little bit more to be desired.
Yeah.
And I'm not, like I said, I'm not hating on it. I'm not criticizing it. It's not bad booking. It just feels like it's something that could be a little bit more different.
You have your thoughts on it.
Yeah. I will say, though, I love how it ties into the Judgment Day. It makes me more excited to see how the Rhea Ripley thing is, because now Damian Priest is in an interesting spot. He was pretty fucking pissed at Finn Balor, you know?
Earlier in the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, hey, go take care of business. Go take care of Braun and stuff. And Finn's like, you know, their whole thing is like, hey, Liv Morgan's actually kind of been helping us. Even Carlito said it earlier in the night. And then what's funny is Carlito's not even part of the Judgment Day, but there's a benefit to him being associated with the Judgment Day.
Yep.
And for Damian Priest, he doesn't give a fuck. He just wants the Judgment Day to be successful. And sure enough, the guy thinks that Liv Morgan's the problem, but he's going to show up next week and find out, oh, these guys are all.
I will say this.
You know,
Rhea's going to be the only person that Rhea's going to align herself with is Damian.
I don't think so.
See,
I think so. See, the thing is, in the past, me and you have had this conversation where I'm like, babyface, top baby faces.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see that.
Yeah, that's why I look at it like that.
But I feel like Damian Priest is going to get his ass screamed at.
Because he's played into it a little bit.
Exactly. So that's what makes me curious.
But
I mean,
my thing is
they both should be coming out as top baby faces out of this.
They will. I believe both of them will be top baby faces. Now, I believe there will be some kind of confrontation between the two? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, when Damian sticks it in her head, like, hey, really look at what I was trying to do, right? Because we break down the logic of it. I wanted her gone, and none of them would listen. It was my fault. I should have moved better like a leader.
Yeah.
And boom, there you go. You've just answered everything. And Rhea, being the babyface that she's eventually going to be, is understanding of it, whatever the case.
Yeah. I just feel like the tag team division has so much potential. And I look, at Cedric Alexander and Ashanti the Adonis now really getting screen time on SmackDown. And I think, okay, like, they're great.
Especially after what happened with Ashanti Mini, where they offered him an opportunity. Did he ever get that opportunity?
Oh, yeah. Well, yes, but no.
Yeah, okay. Then
you're talking about the backstage segment when Nick called us. No, not really. But they they eventually, like, months later, show the video package with Cedric. But, like, these guys aren't being used,
Mm-hmm.
Why not put them on Raw and help them beef up the tag division? Because now I got to think, who's going to take the belts off the Judgment Day?
I don't know right now.
Time to do some call-ups from NXT?
I mean, yes and no, because, like, are you just going to give them to some people from NXT, or are you going to give them to a team that you're building on Raw?
Tell me a team that they're building on Raw.
There's not one right now.
Because the Judgment Day storyline takes precedence over the tag titles.
It does. Like, you can make the argument AOP, or, like you said, the Creed brothers.
The Creeds have not done anything on TV as of late, other than appear in backstage segments. See what I mean? I'm talking from a booking perspective.
Yeah, from a booking perspective, it makes no sense. These are just teams that we want to hold the belts.
Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne would actually be perfect baby faces to take the belts off the Judgment Day. Which, by the way,
on SmackDown.
No, they're
on Raw.
They're on Raw. They just haven't been on Raw.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So here's the thing, though. They would be perfect baby faces, UK versus UK, right? Like, they'll take the belts off JD and Finn, and it'll be a banger of a match, and that'll be cool. But they haven't positioned them on TV to build them up for that opportunity. That was the only downfall that I had. But otherwise, I thought this episode was fucking awesome. Banger of an episode.
It made a lot of sense, too.
Phenomenal storytelling, bro.
Absolutely.
But you know what I'm going to tell you? Because I want to do this before we get off.
Yeah.
I was saying earlier what I like about wrestling and stories and everything feeling real and continuity and consistency.
Yeah.
Why is it that this company is able to do this and the other company isn't?
Who, you're going to put me on blast like that?
I want to know why this other company that exists cannot do
Realistically,
this
they
level.
can.
But why is it not being done?
Why is it not being done? Lack of caring.
That's a cop out.
Okay, I understand. I understand. The thing about it is like selfishly, Tony Khan is booking the other show. And he's not putting in the care that and let's be real here. Tony Khan is a fan. Triple H is a knower. He knows how it works. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. He knows what this business is like. He's been in it since who knows how long. Tony Khan made some friends and they gave him a little bit of advice. And keep in mind, excuse me, but at the time, Cody Rhodes had gotten released and like the Young Bucks were on the independent circuit, TNA and stuff like that. What I'm trying to say, and not to give blast at that, but it's if you don't surround yourself with the smartest crowd, then you're not going to give the best product. And at the time, in Tony's no right now, isn't much. I don't know. Maybe it's me making an excuse for Tony Khan because at the end of the day, he's a grown man, and making grown man decisions. But realistically, like the real answer is this show could do it. They're just not. And I don't know why.
Yeah, I think if you take all of the top storylines that AEW has right now, and they're pretty good, like Will Ospreay and Swerve.
Yep.
But if you had the amount of attention to detail that WWE has with
Think
all
about
of these,
I'm so sorry to cut you real fast.
Yeah.
Just one more second. Think about the things that you could do with somebody like Daniel Garcia. That's who I look at.
Yes, but let's not go into hypotheticals for a second.
Yeah, yeah, I'll let you continue.
Look at what they have currently on their TV. That's like a good storyline. So Swerve and Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
If Triple H had the same storyline, you would get a lot of small details each week that build up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is a cop out, and I think a lot of people, and the reason why we're having this conversation is because I do genuinely believe this way. I think AEW right now has like improved, but AEW doesn't put that much attention to their stories the way WWE does. And there's no reason that WWE, it's like very basic storytelling when you think about the grand scheme of things. Like R-Truth kind of has this like dumb, he's like low IQ. He's like dumb. Like he's honestly fucking stupid, but it's comedy character. But it also plays into the storyline being played out. And hey, The Miz obviously is commentator, and his tag team partner is getting seduced by Liv Morgan, and she's playing into the fact that he's an idiot. Miz gets out of the commentary, runs to the back. Then he has the backstage segment with R-Truth. And then when you watch this, you start to realize like, oh shit, now The Miz has every reason to turn heel on R-Truth next week because they just lost their tag titles. Which, by the way, then turns R-Truth into a sympathetic babyface. Now, everything I'm telling you could be played out not within one episode, but for weeks, maybe even a month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I just feel like I don't like the excuse that people give AEW like they can't do this type of shit because they have stories.
Go ahead.
They have stories. And I'm going to say this too, man. Like, I'm not saying this to be a dick, and it's not really off topic either. Like, there's a difference between having stories and then being really good with your storytelling. And I think AEW has in the past been really good with storytelling, and then they always rush shit. And always. WWE doesn't rush anything, bro. And I fucking thought tonight was excellent. And
this past week's been excellent.
WWE's been so fucking good that it's actually weird having to talk about wrestling and sit there and be like, yeah, WWE's actually fucking consistently good.
Think about
I actually enjoy it.
Like, bro, think about the excitement that we've had even going on to today's stream. Like, I want to feel like that all the time. Because this is what it's like to be a wrestling fan. It's that excitement in that, oh, I can't wait to discuss with my friend or whoever about these things. And, because the thing realistically is people will confuse AEW criticism as AEW hate.
Yeah.
and they'll confuse it, and it's not a hate on AEW because realistically, I know me personally, I don't want anything to happen to AEW.
No, but I will say, I will tell you actually, honestly, I think that's fucking bullshit too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, honestly, I think it's fucking bullshit. I think everybody thinks if you criticize AEW, you want them dead and gone. And I think, you know, the reality is I think a lot of their shit is self-inflicted wounds. Like,
Yeah, I mean, they do it to themselves.
it's pretty obvious. Like, there's a perception war, and all the negativity surrounding AEW hurts AEW.
Mm-hmm.
But then the response to that wouldn't be, hey, let's book for the sickos, because those sickos are the reason why you're losing the perception war in the first place. And like I said, I'm not getting off track. There's a purpose to why I'm bringing this up. But as I watch WWE these days, one of the things that I'm really noticing, Billy, is that so many people say, what's the story? And I'm realizing, like, I've known for a long time, it's not that AEW doesn't tell stories. That's not an issue.
Mm-hmm.
They just fucking suck at telling stories. They suck at fucking telling stories. You know why? Because they'll tell you the entire fucking story in 1 or 2 episodes.
And it'd be quick as shit.
And it's like, you could add so many layers. And, you know, maybe it's fucking crazy that I'm the one who has to say this, and it pisses people off so much when I have to criticize AEW. But it's not coming from a place of me wanting AEW to die. It's honestly, my Wednesday nights have turned into the nights where I'm like, I could just watch it later.
Yeah.
And Monday nights have turned into the night where it's like, I got to watch live.
Mm-hmm. It's must see right now.
And I think a lot of people forget it wasn't that long ago when I honestly was like, hey, I'm just going to watch it later. And then guess what, Billy? I would go on YouTube and just watch the clips and be like, and I would tell my viewers this. I would tell them, I'm like, I didn't watch the episode. I had some other stuff to do, but I watched the YouTube clips and I know everything that happened. And because WWE didn't used to tell you stories to the point where like you actually had to care about the little things, watching the clips was all you needed.
Yep.
And now it's like you really have to watch backstage segments. And I love actually the big criticism that WWE gets, or WWE fans get. It's like, oh, you only watch WWE because you love entrances and soap operas and shit. Nope. Guess what, motherfucker? I do love entrances. You know why? Because WWE is the dumbass company that would waste 5 seconds of an entrance to tease something that might happen 6 months from now, and then I want to see what happens. It's hilarious, but it happens. So, yeah, man, I fucking love wrestling. I love the wrestling business.
Yep.
I find it very interesting that I watched Raw tonight and everything felt like a big deal. Everything feels like a big deal. And the fact that they're able to do this on a 3-hour show, like, honestly, I'm getting to the point where I want SmackDown to go 3 hours.
Dude, it's crazy. We used to complain about this 3 hours.
Brother.
And now it's like, oh my God, it felt like an hour long.
I've complained about it so many fucking times, Billy, that honestly, like, when I saw how good WWE's been all 2024, I'm like all for it. Pacing is incredible. And I genuinely hope this happens, but I hope AEW and WWE could both be on, forget about a perception war, forget about anything, but I want all these shows to be on the same level in quality.
Absolutely. I think we all do.
When AEW came around, I see this thing that floats around on Twitter. It's like WWE fans didn't want AEW to come around and be the alternative. They just wanted a better version of WWE, or they wanted WWE to just be better. There is some truth to that. People had obviously wanted WWE to be better.
Yeah.
But then what was really cool was when AEW came around, they really were the alternative. They were. And so for me, when I saw that they lost their vision and things completely changed, I got to the point where less and less I started to tune out. And then what made it worse for AEW, honestly, is that the sickos that they book for literally say, fuck you for criticizing us. Don't watch it. And then, you know, what's actually happening is people are like, okay, fair. No problem. I won't watch.
Right.
You know,
people are listening to what you're saying. And the only person that's hurting is the wrestlers and Tony.
Which is sad because I see Mercedes Moné getting a lot of shit on social media. And I think she's great in AEW.
Even the John Moxley shit.
Yeah, John Moxley gets shit, and I'm like, he's fucking great.
He's amazing.
But here's the thing. When you tell people to fuck off and don't watch our show,
guess what?
This is not for you. It's like, hey, man, like, don't you want more people to watch it? I don't know. I swear, I felt very very cool. Like, it was very cool when I was showing people WWE's Wyatt 6. People that don't watch wrestling, I would show it to them last week.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you think?
People are interested.
They love it, bro. They're like, I got to watch this, you know?
Yep.
And it's like with AEW, I could go tell somebody, hey, like, go put on this great match, and they probably don't care as much. That's my personal experience with the people I personally know that don't watch wrestling. But if I show them something that's like perceived as a big deal, they'll be like, oh, like, let me look into it, you know?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean they're going to like it, but I'm just saying that's like, I'm more inclined to, I want more people to look into it. And if I don't personally think something is good, it's hard for me to recommend something. So if I feel like something is terrible, and then these accounts are telling you, hey, just don't watch, or hey, by the way, like, fuck you, you know, I don't really care. I'm still gonna watch because, well, one, I do enjoy watching AEW, but if you want me to be hooked on AEW, you got to make me care for more than 1 week. And you can't do it just once in a while. You got to do it all the time. And that's why, like, Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa this past week, you know, these are two people that I look at as like really big deal. I look at,
they had the match on Collision, correct?
Listen to what I'm about to tell you. This is what I'm going to tell you that you need to know.
Okay.
Rampage, Collision, and Dynamite. There's no cohesiveness when you watch these shows. Okay. I don't feel there is. Okay. So these matches can happen this week, next week, whatever. And that's all it is.
Right.
But I can tell you last week exactly what happened on Raw. And I can tell you exactly what happened on SmackDown. And I can tell you exactly on what happened with NXT, because each one of those shows have its own identity.
Yes.
So was it Rampage or Collision? I don't remember, but I think it was Collision or whatever.
Oh, and you're just okay. I see. What
Do you
you're
see
saying.
my point though? Is that like it's
like
very
it was one of
forgettable.
those shows, but that match was on one of them.
The moments that they have, like the Swerve and Ospreay promo, I remember was on Dynamite.
Yep.
But I forget that it was on Dynamite.
That's beside. I think that, because other than that, I don't remember necessarily much that happened on Dynamite. I remember that. I remember Okada in that moment that he had with the Acclaimed. I think that was on Dynamite.
Yeah. And the Acclaimed, no momentum at all.
Which sucks.
No momentum at all. Not very entertaining. But then, hey, I'm the AEW hater. But then since 2019, when I've been saying Anthony Bowen should be world champion in AEW, I get clowned on for that. But then when I say, hey,
he's the charisma.
But when I watch and I see that these guys really don't have momentum and nobody really cares for them the same way, like everybody gets so fucking offended. But I look at WWE Raw and I'm looking at certain talent and I'm like, oh, cool, Karrion Kross won today. But guess what? He doesn't have momentum. There's got to be momentum. Everything's momentum based.
It is.
So when I watch wrestling and I see that you don't capitalize on momentum, you know what happens when there's no momentum? You lose it. When you lose momentum, it's 10 times harder to get over.
Yep.
And Karrion Kross, super talented person, but there's a reason why we didn't talk about him and Kofi Kingston for 30 minutes. Because, yeah, while it is logical and it's a storyline, and it
lost momentum as a character.
Not because as a character, but I think Vince McMahon really fucking hurt Karrion Kross.
Absolutely.
I think that had a long-lasting effect on him. So the WWE's booking and the writing and everything makes sense with him and the way they're doing it. But there's a reason more people care about the Judgment Day and the Liv Morgan and the Awesome Truth
rather than Karrion Kross.
Correct. So there's got to be a thing in wrestling where when somebody has momentum, you properly do something with them. Karrion Kross will be able to get it back. But I don't know if the Acclaimed could do it because historically AEW doesn't. Once they fuck up with momentum, they never find a way to get it back. And I feel like Triple H has always found ways to do it. But it's going to be a challenge for Triple H. And that's why I'm bringing it up, though, is like to relate it to AEW and WWE, momentum's a serious thing.
And it moves fast.
Did you hear the crowd reaction for Katana Chance and Kaden Carter? Pretty cool, man. People were vibing out to the song and everything was cool, right?
Loved it.
Like, not bad.
No.
But guess what? You're starting to get a reaction a little bit. Next week, are you going to have him do nothing? And then the week after that, not have him do anything? What about Braun Breaker? This, by the way, the reactions that Braun Breaker was getting today, I personally don't think it's different from when Wardlow was on fire.
No, it's not. It's the same thing.
So what are they going to do? Fucking have Braun Breaker lose and then lose all his momentum?
No, I don't think that'll be the case at all. But they did that with Wardlow.
It's crazy, bro.
It's crazy. Crazy stuff, man.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. What's even crazier is that it's like 1 a.m. So we will call it a night. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you all sticking through live on Twitch. Did I miss any more super chats? No. Okay, cool. Let me just check one more thing because I know I did get something in the tip jar.
We had a raid happen.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to Con Man as well.
Con Man
on Twitch.
Yeah, that was.
If you guys are still watching on if you guys are still watching on Twitch, just know that I rock with you heavy. We'll be live on Twitch, and I'll do all my live streams on Twitch too. So at some point, I will start gaming on Twitch. By the way, I can't do it on YouTube, but I'll play like my Nintendo Switch and some old school wrestling games and shit.
Dude?
So
we can play a Switch.
You got a Switch?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you got AEW Fight Forever on the Switch?
I don't, but I can get it. I want to play. I want to play Mario Kart. Yeah, that's what everybody's told me.
Yeah, Mario Kart. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're down, I'll kick your ass in Mario Kart.
We'll figure it out. I'll definitely be live on Twitch though for sure. Going forward, playing video games and obviously the live streams and the review shows, and love it. Shout out to Billy TKO. Follow him. Follow me. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Peace.